So I've had these nothing ear ones for a year now, and I really didn't think that these would do as well as they have over all this time. So anyway, let me jump into how these have fared over the last year, and if these make any sense for you to pick up right now, especially since the nothing sticks are coming out. Does it make sense to wait for those, or do you want to jump in straight and buy the nothing ear ones? So over the last year, I have gotten some feedback from people saying that the nothing ear ones case's hinge has given up. Despite having a metal spring-loaded hinge, it has packed up. I think the spring has packed up, or it's just broken clean off. Now, how this kind of breakage could happen would definitely need a lot of force. These people did not mention how this did happen, but thankfully, however, the unit that I'm using has stood true. Nothing has broken off of the case. The one thing that bothers me about cleaning this is the little magnet that's on the upper part of the case is kind of tucked away, so you can't get the upper part of the magnet. So now over the past year, it has collected some dirt and debris, which is very evident to me, which does bother me to a certain extent, but I can look past it. The earphones still look like they're absolutely new, because I usually like to wipe down my earphones or clean the ear tips after every use. I haven't really dropped the case, but the earphones may have fallen out of my hand one or two times. There is no evidence of any chipping or scratching on it, because they are light enough to not really fall onto the ground and leave some sort of impact. So the earphones are in good condition. Now moving on to the case. Now from the very first impressions video I had of these earphones, I did think they would pick up scratches, because that is a characteristic of having a glossy case. This has in fact picked up a lot of scratches at the base especially. I have put it into my pocket a few times. I normally do leave it on my desk. There is a slight fix for this. Now the guys at GadgetShieldz were kind enough to send me a few skins to test out on the nothing ear one. Now these aren't cases, they're skins, and will protect the surface of your earphones case from scratches and scuffs. Depending on which skin you choose, it also protects the sides of the case and the earbuds as well. They have a wide range of options, from colors to textures, that you can choose from. In terms of fit, they have a full fit option which wraps around the case in a 360 form. This may be a bit complicated to apply, but ensures the whole case is protected. And you also have the option of a simple fit, which goes on the upper part of the case, the inner and the underside. You also get a skin for the outer part of the earbud, and this does not impact the touch performance of the earbud at all. If you're someone that still prefers the transparent look, GadgetShieldz also has a transparent skin that you can apply for your nothing ear one. As of now, you can get these skins for the nothing ear ones and a few other TWS models, but they will soon be expanding to other TWS earphones as well. They also provide skins for various phones and laptops, so if you do want to protect your earphones, laptops and phones, I will leave their link down below in the description box if you'd like to check them out. Moving on to the features. Now I did think that these would get dated over time, but somehow compared to all the other earphones that I've tested over the last year, these still hold true. These are the only ones that I've tested in the last year that have had wireless charging, and they are also the only ones that have had a volume slide control. It is a very nice touch. In fact, it's much easier to interact with these earphones because of that very feature. The one thing I really do wish it had as a feature is multi-device pairing. Now I don't know if they are planning on including this feature with the nothing sticks. This is something that is missing, considering the earphones like Oppo Enco Air 2 Pro or the Realme Buds Air 3, which are less than half the price, have simultaneous pairing or multi-device pairing. Then of course it does have active noise cancelling, and its active noise cancelling has not fallen short. So the most recent ones I've tested are the LG Tone FP5 and the JBL 230NC. Those aren't really at par with the nothing ear one. The nothing ear one is still the best at eliminating engine noises from outside on the busy street outside my studio. The fan motor noise, the whooshing off of the blades. The nothing ear ones really nail bringing that decibel level quite low. And one issue I did have with these while consuming any media, at least during the first maybe 6 to 7 months, there was a constant drop off. I think a lot of people have been plagued with the constant drop offs with the nothing ear one. It would cut for maybe half a second, and it was distracting, but I eventually got used to it, knowing that it was not a major glitch. It was frustrating, but it would keep happening every 10 to 15 minutes. Now after the very last update that Nothing released for the nothing ear one, it did reduce significantly. So if I was using the earphones for up to 2 hours straight, I'd maybe get one drop off sometimes. It wasn't a regular pattern. It also does very well with its environmental noise cancelling. So just to save you a little time, let's see how the environmental noise cancelling sounds off of the latest version of these earphones right now. So I'm calling from the usual busy street where I normally do always, just to give you an idea of how much noise is around and how much these have to eliminate. So I have been on my camera and microphone right now, just so you know what it really sounds like and how much the earphones have to actually battle with their ENC. So I'll switch over to the nothing ear ones right about now.
And from the previous tests that I've usually done with this, one thing I have realized, even up against the JBL 230 NC and the LG FP5, this does tend to manage to eliminate some of the background, well, slightly better than those in some situations. And it is kind of, well, it's quite impressive considering this is a first generation product. One would think that they'd take some time to get to this level, but the guys at Nothing have really nailed the environmental noise cancelling on these earphones. So of course, these earphones are battling a lot of things over here in this environment. If you are in an enclosed space, say in your office or at home, it's bound to do a slightly better job with eliminating your fan motors or AC droning noises. And of course, I do hope this sound demo has given you a little more clarity and helped you understand these earphones a bit better. And of course, I will see you back at the studio.
I'm sure you'd want to know how the battery does after a year, especially. So, one thing that I've always practiced with all of the smaller electronics that I have, I always give them a very slow charge. I'm using a slightly older charging block from Probus, and it does have high speed charging and very low speed, and I think the lowest one is at 1 amp. So I only charge the earphones via the 1 amp output, whichever earphones I have. I find that battery degradation is reduced a bit when you charge it over a slow charge. These actually do carry me for about 2 hours without a problem. And I think by the time I get to 2 hours of usage with active noise cancelling on and listening to movies or audio at about 40% volume, it does have maybe 25% left, which I'd say is still pretty healthy. But having said that, these are very tiny cells in the earphones, and everybody's experience is bound to vary. On a sound front, I'm not going to go too into detail because I still stand by what I said about these earphones in my in-depth review. So I will link it down below if you would like to give that a look. These still do surprise me in the sense I have shuffled between a whole lot of other earphones. Every set of earphones and headphones does have a certain amount of distortion. These also do have that. They are still full body. They don't sound thin, especially when it comes to the bass or the sub bass region. I usually keep the EQ setting on the balance mode, which I think it is out of the box. You do have other modes you can toggle between, but I prefer the balance mode the most. The highs are still very soft in their delivery. They're very pleasant. They're not piercing. The mids are true and clear. It's a very nice tone that they are delivering, and the bass of course can be quite punchy in the sub low and low region. So I think the guys at Teenage Engineering, when they tuned this, they did definitely take their time, and they've done a terrific job because these don't really feel like a slouch compared to some of the other earphones I've tested. But having said that, I do prefer the JBL 230 NC to these because they sound a little fuller. But in one of my polls, a lot of you guys did still prefer the Nothings over the JBLs. But the Nothing Ear One still does fare very well even after a year when it comes to its sound. So all in all, would I still recommend these earphones even after a year? Well, I think right now we're at an interesting time because there will be a few people who say, I don't have earphones and I want to upgrade to something, or I do want the Nothing Ear One. A lot of people do like the design, they do like the look of the case. There's something funky about it, but that novelty can wear out. I think I found it really cool maybe for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, until it was just normal. But I've had people who see me using it and they're like, whoa, what are you using? I want to own something like this. Now the complication here is Nothing is almost about to launch their Nothing Sticks, and I'm sure if you have been following the news, there are a lot of rumors, so there's no point in me covering it over here. So the interesting thing would be to see if it makes sense to wait for those or to go ahead with these if Nothing is part of your bucket list. Now, when it comes to the whole waiting game, I've always strongly believed that it makes no sense to wait, because if Nothing says, oh, we're delaying it by a month or another month or 2 months or 3 months, you're going to end up waiting constantly. There's no point wasting your time doing that. You might as well just pick up the Nothing Ear Ones and be happy with them. And when the Nothing Sticks do come out, maybe try and sell these off and buy those, provided those are available. So I am planning on getting my hands on those as soon as they are available, just to see how much better or worse they are than the Nothing Ear One. And only time will tell. But in conclusion, I've been really happy with the Nothing Ear One. They've been pristine when it comes to their sound. They've been terrifically detailed compared to some other earphones I've reviewed. I also think they're one of the best when it comes to the environmental noise cancelling compared to the other earphones that I've tested. But you'd be the best judge for that if you look at that video. Now, after one whole year, would I still recommend these earphones? Well, I've just opened Flipkart to see how much these cost. The black variant is 7,999 and the white variant is 7,299. And I think these are the same prices that were live when it just launched in India, and I don't think it makes sense at that price. I think this price would make sense maybe for the Nothing Sticks, because those would be a fresh model. Who knows, maybe then they might discount these, because some of my viewers have picked up these earphones, I think for as little as 4,999 or just over 5,000. It doesn't really make sense to spend so much on these, especially since they're a year old. So I hope this video has helped you understand these earphones a bit better. And of course, if you would like to support the channel, I'm sure you know exactly how to. And of course, thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.